humans? Welcome to Scarlett Show's season 5 premiere. Woo woo! So excited to be here. I'm sorry for the late start. I had a little bit of technical difficulties, but nothing in life can be perfect sometimes, right? So there's a lot of things that have been happening lately. I'm really excited, and I want to try this new thing where I don't talk. I don't do like a scripted intro, so I'm just gonna talk right now, because I've heard your feedback. So I worked at Countdown. It was really fun. I just had my first DJ gig at Blonde. I played some dark techno, a lot of great things, and I'm also releasing a lot of YouTube content recently. So there's a lot of great things coming up, and I'm really excited tonight because I have the one and only Memo Rex. Welcome to the show.
Hello, is this thing on? Hey. How are all you beautiful people out there doing? I'm super excited to be here on the Scarlett Radio. I think this is pretty cool.
Thank you so much. No, thank you for being here, honestly.
You're welcome.
Yeah. And, okay, I want to know, let's see. It says no audio. It's flashing no audio.
Sure.
It does say I'm on air, though, so
Mm-hmm.
we'll figure it out. No worries. How are you feeling tonight?
I'm feeling great.
Me too. I'm
feeling amazing.
Did you do anything fun this weekend?
I do a lot of fun stuff every weekend. This weekend, I actually got a chance to just kind of hang out with friends and have a little get together, so it was cool. Very, very cool. Didn't go out clubbing or anything like that, but tonight I'm actually going to Blonde Bar, Porky, and Major having an EP release party. Susio is DJing, so it's going to be a good one.
It's going to be a good one,
yeah.
Yes. I'm really excited to have you here because you have a very big personality, and I've observed you at events, and you're just so expressive, and you just get the feeling that you're one of those people that just doesn't give a damn about what others think, right? Have you always been this way, or did you come out of your shell through the years?
Yeah, you know what? I wasn't always this way. I mean, I was always very animated, but definitely the don't give a hoot attitude has come up in recent years, just because you go through a lot of stuff in life, and usually you just have to kind of take it with ease and just be open to being yourself, because that's what makes you feel good.
Yeah, exactly. I agree. And I kind of went through a transformation too. Definitely when I was a teenager, I was a little bit more, I don't know, I've always been a weirdo, but I kind of just kept to myself, or kind of was afraid to just really shine. And now it's like, I don't care. You know what? If people don't like me, then too bad, because I'm going to be who I want to be.
Spread those wings.
Spread them.
Fly.
Yeah.
Like an eagle.
Exactly. So before you started DJing, you were part of the Sleepwalkers. What happened with your band?
I was. So actually Sleepwalkers was the last band I was in. Before I started DJing, I was actually a one-man band, but I started playing in bands since I was 14. I had my first cover band, and then I started a real band. We were doing like all kinds of kind of like world beat stuff in the rock en español area.
Oh,
so I got to play with a lot of big bands, and we played with like Soda Stereo and Café Tacuba and Belanova and Moenia and blah blah blah, and the list goes on. So we did that for a while, and then after that was over, I started this electro rock band called Buddy Akai, and that took off for like 5 years. We were playing around with like the Killers and the Bravery, and even like LMFAO and stuff like that. So it was pretty cool. And then there was the Sleepwalkers, which was like a rock band that I had, and I wanted to get really vintage rock. And then that kind of blew up. Every band kind of blew up in a funny way. And so it led me to think about just pursuing music for myself. And I thought the best way, I just heard this mix from Atish on Robot Heart Art Car from Burning Man. It was 2012. And I heard that mix, and I fell in love with what he was doing. I said, this is where I got to be. So that was in 2012, and so then I started kind of doing some productions and in Ableton and all that good stuff. And so that's kind of what led me to DJ.
Wow, that's pretty awesome. And you know that you mentioned rock en español. That's what I grew up listening.
Yeah, that's what us Mexican kids did here in like South Bay, and yeah, absolutely, Border Peeps. It was great.
Yeah, I mean, I grew up in TJ, like I was like 10 years old, 6 years old. My parents were listening to like Enanitos Verdes.
Yeah, there you go. I played with them too.
Oh,
I've been with all those old cats. It's great.
You've
But
been
yeah,
around.
it was a flourishing scene. It was great to be a part of, like in the whole Latin perspective of empowerment. It was really, really cool. And yeah, it definitely shaped a lot of my sound, like believe it or not, because all that stuff, especially back in the day, was also influenced by like old bands and like Depeche Mode and The Cure and The Smiths, and I got into that kind of like whole K-rock thing for a while. Those are some of like my favorite bands, and so that kind of new wave, melodic, kind of dark thing is always in my music.
I
for
love
the most
that.
part.
So, how many instruments do you play?
I play a little bit of everything. I do guitar, bass, piano, drums, and just a bunch of like sequencing. I think at the end of the day, I was just using instruments to make music. And so when I was able to do it through a computer-based program and then be able to do everything myself, I was just like, all right, forget the instruments, and dove into that whole like production side. So production's another instrument in itself. So yeah, it's a few.
I love that.
It's a few.
You ever add that live element to your gigs?
I do. I actually sing a good amount at gigs. So I have a few songs that I write specifically for the dance floor, and I'll play them from time to time. And then I take the guitar out as well sometimes. So I have a residency at Kettner Exchange every Sunday, and I take the guitar out there probably every other Sunday and just jam
Damn.
out.
I gotta
Yeah,
check
for
it
sure.
out sometime.
You have to.
I've never been
1 to
there.
4 p.m. Kettner Exchange is awesome. We're doing a little crust party there too. That'll be that Sunday, and the lineup's coming out, so I can't really tell you who it is, but it's gonna be good.
Ooh, okay, we're excited.
Yeah.
So, I really like your about section on your artist page on Facebook because it sounds so deep and it's just so well thought. I feel like you put a lot of thought into it. So I'm gonna read it and deconstruct it a little bit.
Okay.
So, Memo Rex is dynamic, intricate, and mysterious. I can see that.
All right.
Okay, I can see that. Through creation and destruction, his uniquely balanced sonic poetry smoothly blends contrasting themes of yin and yang, dark and light, masculine and feminine, mystical and mundane. And I think this part is easier to observe because I've seen how you like to play different roles, and especially like through your clothing. And I can relate because sometimes I like to be a glitter femme
Sure.
queen.
I
And
like to
other
switch it
days-
up.
Yeah, and like other times I go through that too. I like to be like a total femme, and then other times I'm like a dude
Right,
with
right,
like
right.
a oversized, t-shirt or whatever. So how do you express that through your music, like that balance?
So the balance comes like fairly naturally to me. It's just kind of depends on the set and setting of where you're playing music. So it's always going to be different regardless. Like any venue that I'm at, everything is so different. The people, the vibe, the place, everything about it. So it's a natural method of making tracks specifically for gigs that are coming up. So let's say I have a gig on February 22nd at Spin. I'm back to backing with Susio, and I know his style, and I want to do a little something that has a very groove, and it's techie, and it's hard, and that pertains to kind of that day, So we might be going a little bit more on the masculine side for something like that, right? But when I'm at Kettner Exchange, we're really tapping into a lot of like feminine energy with a lot of like chill out, a lot of melodies. And it kind of just depends. I kind of just follow where I feel that it needs to go. I'm not sure if I answered your question. I might have deviated.
No, it's okay. It happens. But I think you answer how you balance it out. Sometimes
Yeah.
you kind of have to adapt to certain.
Right. Well, it's got to be. I mean, you have to adapt. But I think as far as myself, it's just got to feel natural. So if you're not feeling it, don't do it. That's for sure.
Exactly.
Don't overthink it, because then the mind has a tendency to confuse us, and I think you got to go with your gut on these types of things.
I agree 100%. So the last part of your bio says, in tune with Mother Earth and inspired by cosmic vibrations, Memo Rex unifies past, present, and future into one heart, one mind, one spirit. Whoa.
Wow, that got deep
whoa.
real quick.
Yeah.
Holy
That's
moly.
what I'm saying. I'm like, I feel like you're going to take me on a journey of like enlightenment.
Yes, absolutely. Let's
So-
do it together. I want everybody on this voyage.
I love it. So what are these cosmic vibrations? Are you a spiritual person? Do you live in
I
the
consider
universe?
myself to be a very, very spiritual person, and so much to the point that sometimes I'm not spiritual at all. It just encompasses like everything. Like when I say, the when I talk about the mother and the father, it's like the energies that come with our worldly, like biological nature, and then when we're talking about the cosmos, it's this kind of like masculine energy of just straight lines, so like looking at like geometry and like sacred geometry, there's like a lot of curved lines with like feminine energy and like a lot of straight lines with the masculine. So I try to get it from all angles. I feel like we're living in an age where we're balancing that, where we were like so separated before from these like masculine and feminine
Right,
things that we were
right.
calling it like negative and positive, and it's not negative and it's not
that.
positive. It's
And
really
gender-
more of that kind of energy,
And gender is such a big spectrum. I would consider
Right.
myself gender fluid. I don't think I'm like
Sure.
super feminine or super masculine, and we
Right.
all have like different, tendencies.
Yeah.
So I think it's great that you make an effort to
Yeah, for sure.
blend that.
I really believe that as we evolve, we're going to come into more of a balance between everything. So yeah,
Stop
I'm
putting people in
excited.
boxes.
I'm excited.
So what
I
can
know,
we
right?
what can we expect in the first half of the mix?
Well, the first half of the mix is going to be Lee Reynolds and myself on the first track. It's a cut from our upcoming EP on Desert Hearts that'll be coming out, I believe, February 21st. And it's a track that's called Long Weekend. Lee and I did it because we've had a lot of long weekends, and it was just a great track to get out of. Sometimes we do get a bit too technical in the studio and trying to do all these stuff, and it was just a fun song that we wanted to do to just kind of get back into doing stuff just absolutely for the pure bliss and love of it,
That's
And then
beautiful.
the next tracks after that are two tracks that are coming out on Good Luck Penny, which is Jesus DePonk's record label, and it's a couple of roller skate house tracks that I did. I had like a month that I was doing a lot of techno, so then the next month I just decided to get all like disco on it, and
All this go. All
so yeah,
right.
that's coming out soon.
So we're excited to hear your mix, and we'll be back in less than 10 minutes to get on the longer interview. Hey, what is up? Oh my
What it do?
God, this is Vibey AF.
Hello,
You said it was roller skate music?
it's roller skate music. Don't look at me, people. Yeah, it's roller skate music for sure. I'm calling it roller skate house. I just the vibe is just very, let's get in a roller skate rink or like on the boardwalk and do it.
If only I could roller skate, but I'm too.
It's all right. You got to switch it up.
I know, I'm just scared to eat it.
So we'll get you in the roller skate ring.
Oh, by the way, thank you for this shirt. Now we're matching.
Hey,
We're
yeah,
we're
that's
twinning.
right. I gotta
Hashtag
dive into
twinning.
that real quick because that's the next.
Oh, okay, sorry.
No worries,
Yeah.
no worries. That's a little sneak peek at the next mix, guys. So, yeah, the next mix is going to have Lee Reynolds and myself just got an EP out on Super Freak Records. That's Mr. C's and David Scuba's label. It's a UK-based label.
Oh,
and,
yeah. I want to talk about that. Your current projects. You recently
Yeah.
released that EP, so-called Utter Space.
Yes.
With Lee Reynolds. Congrats.
Yes, thank you so much.
Yeah,
It's been they talked to us like a little over a year ago actually to get an EP going, and we had finished the tracks, but Super Freak was going through some changes, and now they've basically done a whole kind of like remodel, and they're just in it to win it right now. So they just got the REP's the first one that's come out there probably like in a year or something.
Fantastic.
So yeah, we're super happy to be on board with them. They're legends. Like Mr. C is just one of my favorites. He's been one of my favorites.
So,
since I
what's
was
your
getting into
favorite
it.
song from the EP?
So from our EP, So-Called Outer Space is an amazing track in its own right.
This one?
But my
is
favorite track
this
is
is-
called Secret Teachings.
Oh, okay.
Secret Teachings is actually the first track that I put on the mix for
Oh,
you.
okay. So maybe we're just gonna wait for the mix and
Yeah, wait for the mix. I mean, that's like a great. But you asked me for my favorite, and and that's kind of one of those things. We got a Terrence McKenna vocal on there. He's talking about some really cool, kind of spiritual ordeals and situations on psychedelics and the spiritual realm and stuff like that. So it's got a really cool kind of background vocal on that, and then just the beat is
I
really
love the vocals. I think
kind of
that,
tribally infectious and stuff.
I think that when they have vocals, any song, it just makes it more impactful because it's just easier to remember. Sometimes you hear
Right.
a song that's all instrumental, and I'm like,
Right.
oh, okay. I
Yeah,
just
no one's at
remember
the club.
you
No
know.
one's at the club telling you, "Oh, you remember that song?" It goes beep boop bop boop beep. It's like,
Right.
nah, not really, right? But there's a vocal, and you got it. That being said, I mean, I love instrumental tracks too because you could just get lost in them, whereas
Yeah.
a vocal can kind of like bring you back down into reality, which is
Yeah.
fine. They're both fine. They're just different ways to get at it. But
Yeah,
I definitely like the ethereal kind of thing of just kind of getting lost in the music without some vocals and just
It
switch
just
it up.
depends on the vibe that you're
Exactly,
going for, right?
absolutely,
I
for
mean,
sure, for
when I
sure.
was like raving heavily, and
Hello.
like Electro House was big, and like Axel or like Swedish House Mafia and
Sure.
Afrojack, and it's like, don't you worry,
Right,
child."
right, right.
You're like crying.
Right. You're like, oh my god. So
Yeah,
yeah,
those are the good
definitely,
times.
and it's I think it's hard to get amazing vocals, but yeah, when you get them, it's just a whole nother level of feeling for sure.
So, how was the creative process of putting this EP together? Did you and Lee agree on a lot of things, or did you find difficulties collaborating along the way, or was it just a
So
smooth road?
yeah, there's no difficulties in the collaboration with Lee. We've known each other for a long time, ever since I was in my electro band. We actually met up here when the Beauty Bar was doing its stuff, and he was doing a party called Get Ugly. So we've been friends for a while, and it was kind of just natural, especially since we have a lot of the same influences to get on the production collaboration tip going. So yeah, it's I'm not gonna say it's smooth because it's I mean we're in there and it's beats and it's jaggedness sometimes and you're trying to figure out the right sound and it's not just about the creativity but it's also about the technical factor with
Yeah.
production. And so it's a shaky road, but it's like a rock and roll shaky road, you know. So we're
Yeah.
having a great time doing it. Ultimately, that's lead my thing is like we're having fun making music, and if not, then what? Why are we doing what we're doing? you know?
Exactly. So, how many hours do you spend in your studio, would you say, per day or per week?
So I mean I'm doing studio work every day. Usually it's like I'm gonna average it out to like 8 hours a day probably in the studio because we have
Almost
sessions
like a
that
full-time job.
yeah, no,
I mean,
it's
it
no,
is.
it is a
We
full
were
time job
just
for
talking
sure.
about
Yeah,
that.
definitely.
Yeah.
So I mean, and like Lee and I have sessions. I think our longest session was like 16 hours where we did something, and that's pretty amazing considering most of the people that do their sessions kind of get ear fatigue and will stop after a few hours and then take little breaks. And we just like to get all up in it and
Yeah.
just
Just
So
get it done.
yeah, so I mean, whenever I can, I mean, I'll literally wake up like if I can't sleep 3 a.m., I'll get out the laptop and just be on my headphones, laying down, making a track. So I'm literally getting as much time in the studio as I can. It's so much fun. This is the best thing.
Yeah,
ever.
that's the main thing, right? That you love it.
Yeah.
Like, you have to love it, and
Absolutely.
you had to put in the work.
Yeah, it's a passion. I mean, I'd be doing it regardless if I was DJing or not. I'd still be making music.
That's good. So, how long ago did you guys start working on this project? How long did it take you to
Yeah,
do?
so I think they asked us like a year and a half ago, or maybe even almost 2 years ago, and we
Okay.
started like a couple of months into it. So I'm gonna say the process took like as a whole, like in the 2 year span, we probably worked on every song for a week.
Okay.
So yeah, every song got the love that it needed. Like we had, versions, but since we had time, we kind of kept fine tuning it, and we start working on other tracks. But then we go back to these and see, well, how are these sounding now? We let them marinate and kind of let them sit,
Marinate.
and yeah, and then they get mighty tasty, and we just get more ideas as time goes on. I mean, you can never truly finish a track. You're always gonna do this, and then if you listen to it a year later, you're gonna think, oh, maybe I've done this, but
You're like, I hate it.
but ultimately, well, no, but there's just little fine tunings which honestly not a lot of people would notice, but for you as the author and artist, it's kind of nice to get as much as you can in there, and squeeze it all in
Definitely.
for sure.
Who did the cover art, by the way? I love it. For
Wow. I am
It's really
I'm
intense.
gonna draw a blank on that, but actually, if you go to the post where I posted the artwork, the artist is on there, so you'd have to drop in the comments.
Oh, okay.
and
All
you'll
right, no
find 'em.
problem.
But
It's-
shout out, and I'm so sorry, the name escapes me. I just got off work at Clover Cannabis, so the name is escaping me right now.
I love it though. It's
But it's just really amazing art, right?
it
Yeah,
is.
for sure. Kudos
okay.
on that.
So you just had the Clam Jam.
Yes.
Yes, I heard it was a blast. What
It
shape-
was a total blast under the sea. Yeah, it's amazing.
Under the Sea. What shaped your vision for creating this experience? What's the story behind Clam Jam?
So the Clam Jam story is Lee and Zoe and Danny and Shannon and a bunch of other clams had just kind of an experience together where they were just clamming it out. And I was lucky enough to get in there when they had just finished a track with Lee, and I was in the studio with them. And yeah, I really liked it a lot, and I wanted to get on board, so I asked them if I could, and I just kind of helped Lee fine-tune the tracks, and they're making some really, really cool stuff. It's all about clamming it up. It really just, I think the meaning is different to each clam, but ultimately it's about as being as real as you can and having fun with life and just doing whatever you want. And clamming it up, I feel, for the ladies, has a big positive kind of like feminine energy to it that you need to be strong and not give a fuck about clamming it out, you know?
Yeah.
But anyway, these things happen. You know, life is such as life.
It'd be like that sometimes. Yeah, I don't think it's okay. So I love that. I saw a lot of pictures and it just looked like a blast.
Yeah,
I'm
they're
kinda
super
sad
fun.
I missed it. I was sick that day. I'm like, I need to just rest. Sometimes when you work a nightlife, you lose your voice and your hearing, and everything
No,
happens.
for sure.
But
And
it's part of it. But what is your guys' goal with this event? Can we expect more clam jams?
yeah, I think the next one's coming up in April. And I'm not sure. Well, the artist is going to be a surprise, but it's going to be. I mean, we just had Doc Martin for that party, and he's a legend in himself. So we're going to have another legend, and of course, Lee is the resident there, and he's legendary as well.
Legend.
So yeah, I think that you can expect a handful per year for sure on that.
That's exciting.
Yeah, and they're just going to keep getting better and better. The stage production is on point. You know, the clams are really doing amazing work with that, and that's just setting the whole vibe for the party.
Vibes for sure.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I want to ask you a couple more questions about yourself. How do you think your music has evolved since you first started playing?
The evolution of my music, just as far as like sound design, that's been incredibly evolved from when I first started. Just getting into like making a song as opposed to finishing a whole piece. So now I can mix and master the tracks, and there's an evolution on that technicality, and then there's an evolution on my creativity, which has basically been just listening to all these great artists that are out there in the scene and having so many cool influences, and you know, having Lee as a friend and a colleague and a mentor is just amazing, and it's really helped me get out of my kind of I used to be too well. I used to be too. I just wanted everything to sit pretty and no distortion and not too heavy. And Lee just likes some savage kind of beats sometimes that I've really gotten into that I didn't think I was going to really be into anytime. So there's a certain level of grittiness that's come along now with my work that's like a lot that I feel is a step up. It's kind of like losing that fear of something you think is going to sound bad, and then it ultimately makes it sound amazing. So,
Yeah, and then I think like when artists go through musical transformations, it also represents like different stages of your life.
Oh, for sure. And I'm also using auto-tune like T-Pain, so just auto-tune all day.
Buy you a drink.
Hey. So, no, that's not true on the auto-tune, but yeah, sometimes.
So how are you able to find your sound, would you say?
You know what? I'm constantly finding my sound. Actually, for a while, I was doing a thing called Tribe Out West, and it was really kind of like getting confined in the tech house genre, and I was trying to do that for a while, and then I saw, I believe Love Life brought out Nastia, and she was playing such an eclectic house and techno sound that I was like, all right, it's just this fear that you want to put yourself in a box so you're like easier to brand or market or whatever, and ultimately you don't really have to worry about that stuff and just do you. So I mean, I'm a wild card. Like I could play like a full on like kind of deep soulful house set, or I can go like on a dark techno set.
That's good.
And I can do them in between. So like I just played like Stay Bad's House to Ourselves at Spin, and it was all over the place.
Oh,
I went
I
from techno,
remember.
like dark
That was
techno,
so
to like
much
those
fun.
roller skate tracks, and it seems to work when it works. So yeah,
That's beautiful.
for sure.
Basho. So what are your thoughts on San Diego's electronic music community? Maybe start with some positives and something that needs improvement.
I think that San Diego is doing amazing. There's such a lot of creative people here. There's such a lot of creative promoters and crews, and everybody's just, for the most part, doing it for the love and the passion of making it happen. And there's a lot less competition. I think we're moving from this age of competition to an age of cooperation between everyone that's making music. It's not like how like the rock and roll LA scene used to be, where everybody's just cutthroat and competing against each other. That's not what this electronic music scene is here. So it's super amazing, and I just know that it's going to keep getting better and better and evolving. We have a lot of like up and coming producers that are having amazing sound, just like generational jumps, and because there's a whole generation that's grown up without even like rock and roll and just grown up on purely electronic music,
Pretty much.
and that's gonna set a whole nother precedent. And especially here in San Diego, where like we didn't 5 years ago there wasn't a lot of parties, and now you can find something to do every day.
Pretty much.
Oh yay!
Yeah, San Diego, we're doing this. So
we
now,
are.
so thank you for all your input. It's time to
Yeah.
go to the human experience section where we'll get to know more about your personality, the
Oh,
way
hello.
you perceive life.
Okay.
So I want to ask you, what do you look forward to most in life?
Living it, breathing it, just taking joy in life and seeing the joy in absolutely everything. And if you think there's an obstacle, it's an opportunity, and just like seeing all that life has to offer. That's it. I'm a simple man.
Yeah, you gotta be that way because life is short, and if you focus on all the negatives, yeah, you're gonna have a bad time. There's just so many other great things, and you need to be grateful
That's right. Every day.
every day.
Gratitude all day, every day.
So, how do you recharge or replenish your energy?
I make more music. I make more and more music. That's what gives me the drive, gives me the passion, gives me the energy. I mean, if you think about it on a deeper level, like music is vibration. Vibrations is waves, it's frequency, it's energy, and it's just moving through us and towards us and just everything. So if music is energy and vibrational, then there's a way to control that energy and to use it for your energy. So the energy isn't created, it's not destroyed. And so if you know how to move it, which is, I think that making music really helps that out. So I really try to like spread that to as many people as I can. I know there's a lot of people that don't want to work with certain people, if you don't know, but honestly, like, and this is for everyone on the planet Earth right now, if you want to learn how to make music, let me know. And if I have time, we'll do it.
Just go for it. Just ask Memo.
Ask me.
Don't be afraid.
You might not be able to get me the first try, but you keep trying. How bad do you want to make some music? Let me know.
I love that.
Yeah.
So, when was the last time you got out of your comfort zone?
That happens daily. It's just even with little things like right now I'm working at Clover Cannabis, and it's actually, I'm going to plug it real quick
Yeah,
because I
go
brought you
ahead,
that
go
shirt.
ahead.
So
We got
Clover
the
Cannabis is actually a dispensary that just opened up about a little over a month and a half ago. It's the largest dispensary in San Diego right now. It's got a bunch of selection. We're actually doing delivery starting next week. The product is
Say
amazing.
what?
It's 2 blocks from our home club of Spin, literally. And yeah, just like daily, I mean, I'm dealing with customers that some are in pain, some are just doing it for recreational purposes, just even like social experiences and getting out of your comfort zone, in those situations, has been happening literally daily. And then getting out of the comfort zone with just making music, which is just a whole nother level of comfort. And just, because music is kind of so personal to everybody. There's so many things that go into it and what you're feeling, nostalgia, and, what's going on at the moment and blah, blah, blah. So working with a bunch of different artists, I'm definitely like soaking up their vibes and getting out of my comfort zone.
Yeah, you're
like
opening
that.
up,
Yeah,
too.
absolutely. So, and I try to be going out of my comfort zone all the time. I don't want to stay complacent and then in the same spot and stuff like that. you
Yeah,
know?
definitely. Just being vulnerable it can be tough, but
Yeah.
it's a good way to get out of your comfort zone, especially when you're making music with other people and
Definitely.
you open
definitely.
up, you share the same vibe, and
Yeah, for sure.
I love that. If you had to teach something, what would you teach?
So yeah, I already teach music production.
Do you have a
what I
master
teach.
class?
No, I don't have a master class, but people have been talking about that, so you might see me doing something soon, actually, or even just like live YouTube studio sessions and stuff like
Oh,
that.
that's
So
really cool.
we might be posting those up. But yeah, I've taught able-to classes before, like in a classroom setting, and now I just enjoy doing like one-on-ones with people where we can really fine-tune their craft and stuff. But yeah, that's I'm already doing it.
That's really cool.
There it
How
is.
can people reach out to you if they want to get a class with Memo Rex?
Yeah, it's Memo Rex Musique. That's MEMOREX MUSIQUE at
Musique.
gmail.com. QUE Musique.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can find me on there. You can find me on social media, Memo and Rex on IG, and Memo and Rex on Facebook, and Memo and Rex on SoundCloud. So
Fantastic.
and then Google me. I'm around there somewhere.
Yeah,
So yeah,
I'm
they'll get
sure.
me. If you want to find me, you'll find me.
Right?
Absolutely.
Okay, so what is your biggest pet peeve?
My biggest pet peeve is people that complain about things when they're not doing anything about it. That's a huge pet
yes,
peeve.
Yes.
Also,
yes.
don't drink my drink when you're at the club. So,
I don't want your germs.
right? You know what I mean? Well, I mean, whatever. I'm not a germaphobe, but don't drink my drink.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree on that one because if you instead of complaining, you should be doing something to change your
Yes.
situation.
Absolutely. I encourage everyone to go do this. It's amazing. It feels great.
Yeah, because you're just digging yourself in a bigger hole. You just
Don't overthink it, people.
just go for it. Just make
do
that
it like
change.
Nike.
Right, exactly.
That's right. Nike had, right?
What was the wisest thing you have ever heard someone say?
Oh, I just heard it the other day. I'm so glad you brought this up. This was pretty amazing. So this is actually, it's a show that's on Netflix. It's from the Goop Lifestyle Company. But anyway, there's it's kind of like a mind over matter thing. And this lady was talking about how she had a psychedelic experience, and she said, they say that your body and your mind aren't connected. And I actually got mad. I'm like, of course they're connected. That's what I'm all about. And she's like, they're the same thing. And I think that's amazing right there. So it's not only just a connection. It's like literally everything is the same thing.
Yeah.
So
In
I
a
think
way,
that's,
we're
yeah.
all interconnected too.
Right. But what she's saying is not. It's the same thing. It's like,
Everything's the same. I know, like,
it's a mind. We'll
mind
talk about it another
blowing.
time. We can go 2 hours on that one.
I love that. Wait, what was the show again?
It's, oh my God. I don't know. You're going to have to scream it at me. What? You can scream it. What? Wine Patrol? Gwen Patrol. You
It's
know what?
okay.
It's a good, fine. I'll
Just find it.
direct message me if you want to know. But yeah, the company is Goop, and they're a
Okay,
lifestyle
awesome.
company that's owned by Gwyneth Paltrow.
Fantastic.
And yeah, she's making that money so she can go and just see all the way around the world, see how people are doing it in different ways, and it's really cool.
I love that. So, how do you deal with negativity in your environment?
I move it. I move that energy in another way where it doesn't affect me. So that could be just not dealing with a situation that doesn't pertain to me, not getting, like caught up
Just
in
brush it
something
off.
that's not me. You gotta, it's understanding it before you brush it off. Because if you brush it off, it might kind of like seep in there and get at you later and stuff like that,
Yes.
But so yeah, I try to keep my mind light, and if I do get caught up in that zone where things aren't looking my way, I just kind of think of all the things that I'm thankful for and get out of it.
Yes.
And there's just so many things to be thankful for that it's a waste of time really just
That's
getting
what
caught
I
up
do
in that.
too. I think like the most basic things like being able-bodied, having water, like a roof over my head. It's like,
OMG.
those are the things that
Air.
Air, like breathing.
I'm thankful for air.
Right? So it's like the little things that we often take for granted. So
Mm-hmm.
whenever you're dealing with some petty stuff, just like think of that.
Right. So yeah, I mean, we're not over here getting bombed and stuff like that. It's like life
Exactly.
is treating us pretty good. First world
Yeah.
problems over here.
I know,
It's
right?
nothing to be worried about. Yeah.
All right. So I have time for. Actually, you know what? Let's go to the Scarlet letter. You're gonna pick an envelope and you're
Okay.
gonna open the question. You're gonna open it and you're gonna answer the
Ooh.
question.
Okay.
Whatever
So
you
these
want
are the
to speak
official
for.
Scarlet letters. They
Yeah.
have the little wax thing and everything. This is pretty amazing stuff. I'm feeling
you.
very gothic right now. Mm-hmm. This is nice. I should have brought my
you.
vampire fans. So let's see. And the Oscar goes to... If a crystal ball could tell you the future, what would you want to know? Nothing, really. I just it's so much fun not knowing and just living it as you go. Next question.
No, that's it. That was just one.
I probably had time to answer another one. But yeah, I can't really get into depth of that because it just would spoil all the fun.
No, I agree too. I've been asked before, like, oh, like, do you want to go check out a psychic or whatever? I'm like, no, because then I'm gonna be thinking about
Yeah.
it.
See,
and
I would
it's
go
just
check
gonna
out the
ruin
psychic
it.
just for fun. I would definitely do that. So, let's go do that. That sounds pretty fun. But yeah, I wouldn't think too much of it.
I used to be the type of person that would worry about the future so much,
Yeah.
and now that I just live in the present, like my life gets so much better.
Yeah, that's right.
So you
That's
gotta
the
live
way
it
it is.
up, do your best that you
Live
can.
in a state of constant creative
Yes.
flow.
Thank you so much for being
And,
here.
yeah, absolutely.
And all your wise thoughts and everything that you had to
I
share.
love it. I love it. I feel like this was the perfect place to talk about that. So thanks a lot for letting me get my voice out there.
Yeah, of course.
We're on the airwaves, people.
And we're ready to hear the rest of your mix, and we'll be back in less than 10 minutes
Yes.
with a couple more questions. So
All
stay
right.
tuned, people. Oh my God, I love this. It's so spacey.
Yeah, that's me and Susio. We just actually it's pre-release is available on Beatport right now. You can get it through to Clinic Room Recordings.
Do you have any upcoming events? We have 2 minutes.
Yes, I do. February 22nd, Susie and I are going to back-to-back at Spin. That's going to be a Celebrate Locals party that Brando and Jenny Voss are doing.
Yes.
And we got some other good people like Trippy Pants on the lineup. I'm always at Clover Dispensary, and you can come in. It's 3500 Estudio Street. Go to cloverup.com for all our upcoming events. We got some really good stuff going on. Also in March, I'm doing the Umbrella Friends Festival. That's March 13th,
yes.
and that's going on that weekend. I am going to, wow, there's some good stuff going on, but I'm not at liberty to say right now.
All right, no
So just tune
problem.
in. Yeah, get me on the social medias, Memo Rex, Memo and Rex on Instagram, Memo Rex on Facebook, and if anybody wants to know more about me, holler.
Holla, what does the future hold for Memo Rex?
So, just on a kind of future now tip, I got a lot of releases coming out. Lee and I have a release on Desert Hearts February 21st. So that's Lee Reynolds and Memo Rex EP on Desert Hearts. I got an EP coming out on Good Luck Penny. And I have a couple of other EPs coming out. Too much to list, honestly. But yeah,
Wow.
a lot of releases coming out, a lot of collaborations with a lot of great people. And just really happy to be a part of the San Diego culture and music scene because I'm learning a lot from everybody. And if you're learning something from me, I'm learning from you. So we're all in this together.
We're all in this together. Thank you all so much
Yes.
for listening. I'll be posting everything on YouTube. Find me at
Hey.
Scarlett Letter Show. And we'll see you all next Thursday.
You're on the Scarlet Letter.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I like that. You need it.
I'm your guy.
Yeah. Do it again.
This is Scarlet Radio Show. Wait, I got to do it with the letter.
Oh, yeah.
This is the Scarlet Letter Radio Show. I'm going to keep working on that. I think we can do it.
All right.
Bye.
Thank you so much. Bye. Woo.